Hi friends and welcome to Only Green. Aquatic weeds and very specifically water hyacinth is an invasive weed found in plenty in the water bodies of India and very specifically in Kerala. Despite its beauty with its lilac-colored flowers, it's a major menace to the environment. It spreads very quickly in water bodies and it is very difficult to eradicate the same. It causes a lot of problems like blocking the navigation, destroying the fisheries, and also harboring mosquitoes, thereby promoting various diseases. We have with us today Dr. Nagendra Prabhu, who has done a lot of studies on water hyacinth and has turned this problem into a solution by developing several innovative methods of utilizing water hyacinth biomass in many socially useful ways. Dr. Nagendra Prabhu is the Associate Professor at SD College Alleppey and the Principal Investigator at Center for Research on Aquatic Resources. He is the recipient of a lot of awards and recognitions, and the government of Kerala has included him as an expert in the committee constituted to suggest ways and means of controlling and utilizing water hyacinth in the backwaters of Kerala. He has also published a lot of research papers which have appeared in various leading journals. Welcome, Dr. Nagendra, to Only Green.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be with you. Together we can promote the green cause.
Thank you. Can you give us a brief on the invasive nature of water hyacinth and how it affects the lives and also the livelihoods of the community, the local community?
Okay, now I will give you a very simple anecdote. All of us have heard, especially Indians, have heard about the British who ruled the world with a sun that does not set on the British Empire. Now the British are long gone and their sun is now setting, but there is a new invasive colonial plant, and that is water hyacinth. It started from South America and it has colonized the entire world. It can be found in all the continents except the Arctic, Antarctic, and where there is a lot of ice formation. So you will see this problem of this weed in not only in South America, which is its homeland, but in all the other continents as well. History says it was imported as an aquarium plant. You mentioned about its lilac flowers, beautiful lilac flowers. And only because of that, it was imported into many European countries and colder regions of America, as well as other parts wherever the British went as an aquarium plant. And once they left, they just put it in the water bodies nearby. That is one theory which is established. Another possible route is that this weed produces small seeds, and these seeds got imported with the food export, and that is how it reached many countries. And it has the invasive nature is that this is world's fastest growing weed, one of the world's fastest growing weed, and it has two modes of reproduction: vegetative propagation, because one mother plant or a parent plant gives rise to several individual daughter plants or progeny plants. The second one I mentioned earlier with the production of seeds. So fastest growth rate, multiple forms of reproduction, and no natural enemies outside South America has made this the most invasive plant of the world.
Okay. How does it affect the livelihood of the people, the local community living near the water bodies?
Yeah, exactly. See, this is actually as a natural plant in this world, it also has its natural role. But because of its invasive nature and fastest growth rate, it forms a mat over the water bodies wherever it colonizes. So once a mat is formed, the entry of sunlight to the under the mat is restricted. Similarly, the oxygen which naturally gets into the water through diffusion is also affected. You have seen the cases of COVID where there is no oxygen. And similarly, if you have a mat of water hyacinth on top of the water, there is no sunlight and no oxygen on the water which is beneath the surface. So that destroys the biodiversity of the region. And humans depend on biodiversity, especially aquatic biodiversity, for their survival. That is number one. And number two, because of its precisely mat forming nature, it impedes with smooth flow of water. Navigation, inland navigation, you have a common problem in Alleppey where there is lot of waterways and houseboats, motorboats, shikara boats, and even country boats. They cannot move. They cannot transport. Inland navigation, inland transport, fisheries, agriculture. Low-lying agricultural fields will become flooded with water hyacinth. And each season, before sowing the paddy or whatever it is, you have to remove the water hyacinth. So it costs a lot of money. And one other thing is that it affects health, because a lot of the water gets stagnated, and disease causing mosquitoes breed among the root system. So it affects our livelihood in several ways.
Okay, now, I mean, we talk about turning waste to wealth. Here we're talking about turning weed to wealth. What are the innovative methodologies and products that your team has developed utilizing water hyacinth?
Yeah, before going into that, I have to tell you one thing again, quoting history, because we have tried to eliminate or eradicate all kinds of pests, be it cockroaches, bedbugs, mosquitoes, houseflies, or even bigger animals like rats from our houses. And history has proven that it is not possible to eradicate similar things.
True.
Precisely is the case with aquatic weeds, especially water hyacinth. You may check on the net. There will be a lot of international conferences, and even World Bank has constituted World Water Hyacinth conferences on how to eradicate this, how to deal with this menace, but nothing succeeded. So the attention shifted from eradication to utilization, and the concept of eradication or maintenance or management through utilization came into prominence. And that is how I became attracted to this area. I have a PhD in biotechnology, and armed with that degree, I wanted to control this, kill this by some wonderful method. And I spent around 10 years finding out ways and means to destroy it or use it in some other way. And ultimately, I too realized that it is not possible. And then only my focus shifted on eradication through utilization, and that too not using any high-end technology. So I have been focusing on rural technology, and I will tell you more about that in the coming.
Okay. Now, can you just briefly touch upon the products that you've developed?
Yeah. I mentioned I started with high-tech biotechnology. We wanted to produce cellulase enzyme using native bacteria and fungi that grow associated with this plant by using a technique called solid-state fermentation. And we succeeded in that, and we have some very good publications and first-time reports on how bacteria colonizes this, and we have images to prove that and things like that. But it could not be scaled up. And then we shifted to very simple rural technologies. The first technology that we developed, it is not something new, it is mushroom cultivation. Normally, mushrooms, which are edible fungi, are grown on any organic material like paddy straw, even rubber wood, or even banana plant parts, everything like what is locally available and can be packed, and it provides a substratum and nutrition for the fungus to grow, or the mushroom to grow. So my idea was that can we replace this, or can we use the aquatic weeds? So we did a major project and found out that the aquatic weeds, not only water hyacinth, but something called salvinia, which is African pile in Malayalam, water lettuce, it is called. So that is also possible for mushroom cultivation. So that was the first thing which we did. As I mentioned, it is not a new innovation, but we adopted a normal technology and modified it with aquatic weeds.
Okay.
Second, we tried briquettes, which are nothing but flammable organic matter, which is a compressed way. You must have heard about fuel. Exactly. Okay. It's a fuel. You have seen, in barbecues, you use carbon briquettes.
Correct. Yeah.
And similarly, in traditional technology, we use cow dung mixed with the sawdust and hand plastered and used. That is actually a biomass briquette. So I thought we could substitute sawdust and use dried and powdered water hyacinth or other aquatic weeds and use it for producing fuel. And we did some projects, and we have 3 innovative methods of producing fuel, which is handmade, machine made, as well as a semi-automated method. So that was the second method. Third one is our own innovation. We harvested the fresh plants and we produced a pulp out of it. The leaves and the stem were chopped and then ground into fine paste, mixed with some ingredients and binders, and we could have something like clay. And based on that material, we can produce a lot of multi-purpose products, be it disposable plates, tourism-related items, egg trays, handmade paper, and disposable, ready-to-use, biodegradable nursery pot, which is a very interesting case. I will talk about it later.
Okay. You mentioned about starting on a very high technical level of innovation, then you slowly moved on to normal, something which normal people can take up. I think your model is involving people, people participatory and socially beneficial entrepreneurship. That's what you're planning to develop into.
Yeah.
Also supporting startups.
Yes, exactly. See, we, as I mentioned, the earlier approach was to use high technology with high investment. But then I realized that for a country like India, investment is a major issue. Adopting technology is another major issue. And the water bodies are found mainly in rural areas where if you want to start an industry, you will find it very difficult. So I focused on another model, which I call as a people participatory and decentralized model. Many others have spoken, even our father of the nation, Gandhiji, has spoken about Gram Swaraj. Similarly, our present PM mentions about be vocal for local. So maybe, all this can be linked to the model that I have been focusing on, which is called people participatory decentralized model, which again, I don't claim to be my invention because it is already there. We are very good in people's planning, which started long back, Janagiya Sutranam. Similarly, we have a lot of decentralized form of governance, especially in Kerala. So I clubbed it and made it into a enterprise. So that was my approach. And then the people who are actually affected by this come from very low socio-economic background, educational background. And if you want them to adopt a very high technology, it is not possible. So that is why I shifted my focus from high tech to rural technologies and with low investment. And the only thing is that you have a desire to do something, you can do using the technologies that we have developed. That is our USP.
Okay, and you're currently associated with Kudumbashree also, right?
Yes. Knowing this, Kudumbashree units from Alleppey and several other places have approached us, and we are official training partners for Kudumbashree. I launched this activity from 2011 when I founded a Center for Research on Aquatic Resources. I come from a college called Sanatana Dharma College, which is affiliated to the University of Kerala. I teach in the Department of Zoology, but my research is interdisciplinary, so which cannot be explained or restricted under one subject. So an interdisciplinary center concept was launched, and I have co-investigators ranging from botany, zoology, chemistry, physics, even economics and commerce. They help me to develop models. For example, for Kudumbashree, they wanted an economic model. How much do we invest? What will be the revenue generated? How much initial investment, which I cannot comment. So we have collaborators from economics department. For marketing, we use students from commerce. So that was the approach. And once our work started getting recognition, people started approaching us. They said, please come and give us training. Unless your findings are taken to the society, it is, in a sense, it is worthless, except for publications or patents. So then we launched a community training center in our own college associated with this. And so far, more than 500 women especially have been trained during the last 5 years. We also offer training on-site. If you have a collective, you just give us one room with running water and electricity. We come there as a team, and in half day or one day, we will teach the local population. So that is how I have been engaging people. And the second approach was to use student startups. And now people especially students, they are very ambitious and they want to earn while they learn. And the idea of a student startup has been catching up tremendously in Kerala, as well as India, as well as other parts of the world. So I started mentoring student startups. The first student startup which I mentored came from Barton Hill Engineering College.
Trivandrum.
You will be surprised to learn that there are MTech projects coming to an arts and science college.
That's
I've been
Trivandrum.
guiding
Barton College is Trivandrum.
Trivandrum. So the
Okay.
first startup was launched in 2018. 3 MTech students who came to me for their master's project, decided to start a startup called Ecoloop 360, and I am mentoring them from 2018. The second startup, which we launched in 2019-20, was launched in SD College itself. Our own students who were with me for their degree, PG, or even PhD, they have combined together, and we got someone from outside also with an engineering background. So 5 of them have launched a startup called Aquatec, which is the scientific name of water hyacinth is Icornia crassipus. So
Okay.
these are rural technologies based on Icornia. So we named it Aquatec. And in the last 3 years, we were able to secure very good funding, both from center as well as state. And we are the winners of a national level Plastic India Challenge Hackathon 2021. And the result was just announced in January, and the prize distribution due to the COVID was postponed and just held in the first week of April. We got the national prize of rupees 1 lakh with a certificate and memento. Our student startup called Aquatec.
Okay. I mean, for a startup to actually get into action, the major concern would be the availability of the raw material. In this case, the water hyacinth. How much of this raw material is available? I mean, is there any data available for that? Is there any study happening on the availability of this raw material?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because this is one of the first question that I have to answer to any funding agency or any industrialist who is approaching us. How much is available? Where it is available? And actually, there is no statistics. There is no statistics as of now. An old statistics of 1980s mentions, it is a classical work by a person called Bridge Gopal. He has estimated that any given point of time, more than 2 lakh hectares of water bodies is infested with water hyacinth in India. So that was the estimate in 1980. Now the problem would be worse. I assume that the problem would be worse. And realizing this, now I am an investigator, a collaborator for a major international project, teaming up with the University of Stirling, University of Strathclyde, the International Crop Research Institute called ICRISAT in Hyderabad, and National Institute of Plant Health Management, again located in Hyderabad. Along with SD College, my center, we are part of a multi-modal, multidisciplinary project. We are monitoring water hyacinth on a real-time basis using satellite imagery, drone photography, videography, as well as what we call ground truth data. So on the ground, using drones as well as using satellites. European satellites as well as Indian satellites, we have access to their photographs and data. So we are developing an algorithm by which we will be able to predict where will water hyacinth be found at this moment, and what will be the availability in the next month or 2 months from now. So that is the model that we are looking at, and the team will be visiting India soon. Because of COVID, we were meeting virtually. A lot of work has already taken place. And now the actual team meetings are supposed to be held in May 2022.
But then you mentioned the vast area is covered with water hyacinth. Is it all accessible?
Water hyacinth infestation causes it inaccessible. That is the problem. Normally, this is found in any water body. Maybe in fields of Kutanad or in the coal fields of Trichur, one plant is enough and it will cover the entire surface in a few weeks. And that makes it more inaccessible. All the small streams, canals, ponds, everything will be filled and you cannot move. In Kutanad, the problem is more worse because we are below sea level, and after there is no road access to many paddy land. And once harvested, the paddy grains have to be removed only through boat, and boat cannot come near it. And because of this intermittent rain, it is very critical operation. You need a lot of logistics. Actually, there are a lot of logistics involved in getting the country boat to a place where the grains are stored or harvested, and from there it has to be taken back. And no motorized activities going on. Everything is done by human, and a lot of wastage is happening. So So a lot of social yet to be discovered problems of water hyacinth will come to light, or are there actually.
These new startups that you mentioned, one from the Trivandrum College and one from your own college, what are the products that they are developing?
Yeah, the Trivandrum one, Ecoloop 360, they are concentrating on a variety of products. Since they are engineering students, they have been looking at eco-friendly bus shelters, apps, as well as one of the product from water hyacinth is briquettes, machine-made, 100% machine-made briquettes. So that is their focus. And the other one, Icotech, based in Estigol, is exclusively focusing on water hyacinth based products. And we have something called high value, low volume products. We are targeting the niche market. We have beautiful paintings, beautiful handcraft, and the long stemmed variety, which is found plenty in Kutanad, can be woven into exquisite items like lampshades, books, scrapbooks. No, I will send. You will be amazed at the range of products. The Icotech in December 2021 was adjudged as the regional winner of Rural Innovator Meet by Government of Kerala because of these products.
When you mentioned about paintings, the color is also extracted from the hyacinth?
Yeah, we have actually we are coining this plant as a Kalpa Sasya. It is not a vriksha or a tree. So it's a small plant. So in Malayalam, a small plant is Sasya, Sasyam. So I have coined a new terminology. So my contribution not only is to science, but to Malayalam as well. I have coined a new word called Kalpa Sasya. And Kulavada, or water hyacinth, as it is commonly called, is the new Kalpa Sasya for Kerala. All the parts can be used, the roots, stem, leaves, and now the flower also. It produces beautiful lilac flowers. And there is massive blooming nowadays. In the last 10 years, I have been observing massive blooming occurring at some point of time. Earlier, once here, there. Now, massive blooming. Just like Neelakurni blooming every year in vast stretches. Now, this is a phenomenon which is being observed. And once it blooms, it attracts lots of insects, which naturally migrate to the paddy fields. So, wherever there is massive blooming, it is very nice to see. You can do some photo shoots or marriage, videos can be made, but it is extremely ecologically dangerous for agriculture as well as the water body as such. Because once it blooms, it produces seeds. And the seeds remain valid for more than 20 years. So our research focused on using these flowers as well. And we have developed very simple methods. The natural color that comes out is around blue, indigo color. But using some appropriate, simple techniques, we developed 9 different colors.
And all these are organic?
100% organic. 100% organic.
Okay. And this can find uses in multiple industries, right?
Yes. Already we have demonstrated this with cotton cloth, kayar, which is another industry in Alleppey. So we have done some experiments. So we are deciding on what color to promote, because color, the basic color requirement is black in the coir industry. It cannot produce black. Maybe dark blue is okay. So we are negotiating with various coir industries. We have done some experiments and it works well. We have also tried with jute. So all these 9 different color shades are possible. But the major color that the coir industry demands is black. So we are finding out how we can solve this technical problem. But this is an excellent organic dye and something which can contribute to organic LEDs as well. Because LEDs is a very big industry, and now for organic LED there is a big market, green market. So maybe someone who is more technologically competent than us can work on that lines as well.
When I was going through your profile in the net, I also found that you're interested in floating agriculture. Can you talk a little more about that? Or what exactly is floating agriculture and how is it connected to your other field of water hyacinth?
This is as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. We are now in the throes of climate change. Climate change come in many forms, whether it is melting of ice or increasing sea level, or from tremendous torrential rains and floods that occurred in 2018 and is bound to occur recurrently. So we need climate resilient agriculture. That is point number one. Point number two is that the traditional methods of agriculture is fast disappearing. One is because of shortage of labor, economic, socio-economic reason. And the third, more important, is that the land availability is less. Now we have projects, very big projects like metro, silver line, housing projects, industrial projects. Everything has to come from the farmlands only, because Kerala used to be traditional agriculture based. Many areas were turned into plantations, monoculture of like rubber or tea or coffee in the high ranges. Similarly, we are reclaiming land for resorts, whether it's for tourism or for some other purpose. So land is also shrinking. And it is in this context that we need to have a different thinking of floating agriculture. And this is a naturally floating weed. If you pack this weed one on top of the other onto a frame made up of, again, green products like bamboo or even coconut fronds, you can make it a floating bed on which you can cultivate any number of items, including rice. So that is, and it's again, it's not my own innovation. It's already been practiced in Bangladesh, where they have 2 or 3 floods a year. So in that flood-prone area, people have developed such floating agriculture. We need a major policy change and shift in thinking on introducing this on a large scale. Trials have been done, and very innovative farmer called Sujit has made a bed of flowers, and that was a major hit last Onam time.
That was in Alleppey.
Alleppey itself, based on our recommendation only, and we have also done several research projects on this.
Okay, so I mean, the trials and experimentation part of it has already been initiated.
Already done, and there are workable models. Just type floating agriculture Bangladesh, you will find hundreds of videos on how to make it, and a lot of international studies have gone into this. Only thing we need to do is slightly adopt it to suit our local conditions and have a policy guideline on the water hyacinth is nobody's wealth. The aquatic area like Vembanad Lake or whatever, it is common property. So can a personal, an individual go and do the farming there? So how to overcome that issue? Whether it is
can be a community farming kind of a thing.
Exactly. That's why I said no, a single person cannot initiate. Of course, we can do some model studies, but it needs the attention of the government, Department of Agriculture. We have given proposal even to the planning board, but things work very slow, especially in concerning to environment and what you call paradigm shifting ideas. So let's wait and see how it progresses.
Okay. In our channel, Only Green, we talk about making this world a greener place for our future generations. That's the tagline that we always say. I mean, what is the message? I mean, after all these experiences, I mean, working with the water aquatic weeds, turning turning that weed into a socially beneficial, different kind of products on the floating farming, all these put together. What will be your message to our viewers in terms of protecting our environment, making a greener world?
Yeah, see, it's not a simple solution. This is, as the saying goes, if you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. And most of us unknowingly or knowingly are part of the problem. We don't want to change. We are all in our comfort zones. Our generation, about the 50s, 40s, they work and they think as if this Mother Earth will provide anything and everything for time immemorial. It's not the case. The Red Indians have very rightly spoken. The Chief Seattle, who said that we have not inherited this world from our ancestors. We have borrowed it from our future generations. So if you start thinking big, think global but act local, do change your lifestyle, shop local, and do some smaller things in life, you make it a better place. And do some reading into support such activities that may be little expensive, but the indirect expenses associated, indirect benefits associated with this. I have written an article called The Economics of Water Hyacinth. No estimate will say how many crores and crores of rupees or money has been spent on managing this weed. Every panchayat, every block panchayat, every municipality, every village wants money to remove this. And one package called Kutanad package, 30 crore was allotted. You mentioned about an expert committee constituted to know that was for how to use this 30 crores. And despite our other recommendations, the money was spent on just removing this 8.5 crores, just on removing using JCB. And then building some blocks where you cannot, it is all gone. And totally irrelevant acquiring machines, weed harvesters. Now you cannot even see where the machine is. 30 crore was allocated. And now there is a project worth 100 crore on how to manage water hyacinth in Kuttanar. It is lying with the Ministry of Agriculture in Government of India, submitted by the Government of Kerala. I gave my recommendations on that. But adoption is very slow. So my message will be very simple. You think global, but act local. You start thinking on these lines, and not only related with aquatic weeds, there are other underutilized, unutilized, natural resources from our own backyards. Start using them, give value addition, diversify. Farmers, they can do wonders by diversifying, product diversification, value addition. So these are all the areas that our government or policymakers and the common man, NGOs, viewers of this channel have to think. You can make wonders. You may be a part of your residents association. Initiate them. You purchase green products from somebody who is making such similar ones. So that small initiatives will make a big change. That is my message.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sam. I was earlier talking to another person. He was saying the first step towards a greener world is the awareness. And when it comes to a weed like hyacinth, water hyacinth, I think there's a lot of lack of awareness which is there. People who are staying away from these water bodies, they might not know about it. They might have seen it elsewhere, but then they might not know the real menace that this causes. It was really interesting. Thanks a lot for giving us this info, and we'll surely be in touch. Looking forward for more of your help, more of your guidance for our channel also.
Yeah, it was a pleasure talking to you. This is my passion. And so far, I have been very successful, and associating with people like you have made my life wonderful. So I'm looking forward to more such interactions. Maybe each of this technique needs half-an-hour videos.
Correct.
You're welcome.
We can look at smaller videos with each technology listed out different separately.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe this is the first episode. Version 1. We can do more.
Yes,
I thank the viewers for your indulgence and support, and thank Only Green for inviting me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.